Are you guys cold?
She's lovely.
어디가 그렇고?
There was a moment in Toronto that drew fans' attention back to Jungkook. It wasn't due to a massive stage stunt, an explosive dance move, or a lengthy speech. Instead, the attention stemmed from something far simpler. Jungkook's expression, where he was looking, and the way he remained keenly aware of his surroundings. For those who follow every little moment involving Jungkook, this is a story worth hearing to the very end. Welcome back to Top K-Pop, where we take a closer look at fascinating moments from the world of K-pop. The second night of the Toronto concert was charged with immense energy. The stadium was packed with thousands of fans. Lights swept across the venue, cameras rolled constantly, and every segment of the show commanded attention. In such a massive setting, a performer naturally needs to stay focused on their own act. Yet, amidst all the excitement, Jungkook displayed subtle reactions that made fans take a closer, more attentive look at him. Jungkook continued to execute his part on stage, interacting with the audience and maintaining the show's energy. However, circulating footage revealed that his attention had briefly shifted to the situation around him. There were no dramatic gestures to explain the situation, nor were there any specific statements made. It was merely a slight shift in his expression and focus that prompted fans to replay the footage. This is what made Jungkook's moment in Toronto stand out. In a stadium concert filled with lights, sound, choreography, and thousands of fans, an artist's change in expression, lasting only a few seconds, can instantly capture attention. Fans began scrutinizing every detail caught on camera: how Jungkook stood, where he looked, how his expression shifted, and how he continued his performance even as the atmosphere around him seemed to change slightly. Jungkook is known for his ability to maintain focus while on stage. Consequently, when cameras captured these subtle changes in him, fans noticed them immediately. What is interesting, however, is that the moment did not need to be dramatic to be memorable. Precisely because the reaction appeared simple, fans had the space to notice every detail without needing an explicit explanation. Throughout the night, Jungkook remained a vital part of the concert's energy. He continued to interact with ARMY and perform amidst a stadium filled with light. Thousands of fans kept their cameras trained on the stage, meaning nearly every expression and movement Jungkook made had the potential to be captured from multiple angles. And when the footage began to circulate, fans' attention wasn't drawn solely to the grand performances that defined the concert. Instead, they found themselves returning to specific, fleeting seconds that showed Jungkook in a quieter state. There was something about his expression that compelled people to watch it again and again. To some fans, it might have seemed like just an ordinary part of the show, Jungkook performing, glancing in a certain direction, then resuming his part. But for those accustomed to observing the nuances of Jungkook's performances, a moment like this felt different. After all, on stage, every expression can offer a glimpse into a performer's mood at a given moment, even though, of course, we cannot know for certain what is going through his mind based on a recording alone. That is precisely why the moment became a topic of conversation. It wasn't because there was a definitive explanation, but rather because none was actually given. The camera simply captured what happened over a few seconds, leaving fans to interpret the atmosphere for themselves. Jungkook appeared calm and professional throughout. He didn't stop performing, nor did he make a scene. He stayed in the flow of the concert and continued interacting with the audience. Yet, it was that very composure that made his expression stand out all the more. Amidst the thousands of ARMY filling the stadium, Jungkook appeared as someone striving to maintain his focus while remaining fully aware of his surroundings. That subtle shift may have lasted only an instant, but the camera captured it clearly enough for fans to revisit the moment. And the more often the footage is replayed, the more details begin to stand out. Some notice Jungkook's expression. Others observe where he is looking. Still others try to grasp the shift in atmosphere at that specific moment. Ultimately, all this attention converges on one thing: Jungkook. While the Toronto Day 2 concert was packed with major highlights, what makes this particular video clip so compelling is seeing Jungkook in a more natural, unscripted state. It isn't always about massive leaps, rapid-fire choreography, or interactions that make the stadium erupt. Sometimes, a fleeting glance or a subtle shift in expression is enough to make fans pause and take notice. Jungkook continues his performance. The stadium lights remain bright, and thousands of ARMYs keep the energy soaring. Yet, for a few brief seconds, the camera seems to isolate Jungkook from all that excitement. All that remains visible is him, his expression, and the subtle reactions that emerge as he takes in his surroundings. Moments like these reveal another side of the performer. When on stage with thousands of eyes upon him, Jungkook isn't merely executing choreography or singing songs. He is also reading the situation, maintaining focus, interacting with the audience, and keeping pace with the show's flow, all happening almost simultaneously. That is precisely why a slight change in Jungkook's expression can be so captivating. Fans know that things move incredibly fast on stage. A camera angle shifts in a heartbeat, an expression flashes by in an instant, and a small moment vanishes the moment the show transitions to the next segment. Fan-recorded footage, however, allows these moments to be revisited. Fans can slow down the video, study Jungkook's expression and gaze, and compare them to the atmosphere just moments before and after. This sparks all kinds of speculation. What exactly is catching Jungkook's attention? Is he simply keeping track of the action on stage? Is he looking out at the crowd? Or is there something specific that has momentarily drawn his focus elsewhere? The footage offers no definitive answer. It is important not to draw sweeping conclusions based on just a few seconds of video. Yet, one thing is clear: the moment was compelling enough for fans to feel compelled to talk about it. What makes Jungkook even more fascinating to watch is his ability to maintain a professional demeanor even when his attention momentarily shifts. He never loses control of his performance. He continues to fulfill his role and keeps channeling energy to ARMY. Amidst the massive scale of a concert, such an occurrence might seem trivial. Yet, for fans, it is often these simple details that become the most cherished memories. They remember not just Jungkook's overall performance, but also the subtle expressions, fleeting glances, and spontaneous moments that don't always make it into official recordings. The Toronto concert serves as an example of how a show can hold many layers of storytelling. There are moments when the stadium is electric with energy, times when ARMY sings in unison, and instances where Jungkook performs with sheer power. And then there are those few seconds when the atmosphere feels calmer. It was during one of these quieter moments that Jungkook once again drew attention. The camera captured him on stage. For a brief moment, his expression turned serious. His attention seemed fixed on something nearby. Then, he resumed his performance. It all happened so quickly, yet it was enough for fans to notice a shift in his expression. Perhaps that is precisely why the moment felt so impactful. There was no grand narrative explaining it all, no announcements, no lengthy speeches. It was simply Jungkook and a fleeting moment captured on camera. The more one watches the video, the clearer it becomes that its appeal lies not in something spectacular, but in Jungkook's natural self, unconcerned with manufacturing a big moment. He was simply going through the motions of the show, observing his surroundings, and then refocusing. For ARMY, that alone was enough to make the moment feel special. Jungkook also maintained his interaction with the audience. The energy radiating from the stadium never truly faded. Even during those quieter seconds, the bond between Jungkook and ARMY remained palpable. Stay tuned to Top K-pop for more stories, moments, and exciting news from the world of K-pop.